Okay, hello guys, how's it going? Rodrigo here. I am here to help you do some of the statistics on the Jenga activity that you guys did. And so this little video should help you with that. What you have here is you have the height of each block that each person in your team measured, and they measured up to about 4 decimal places, and this is the block number right here. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to do this in Excel because you will be using Excel a lot if you decide to do anything in sort of science or engineering or any sort of data processing, which a lot of jobs do. Excel is used very commonly. So we're going to practice that and use that a lot. So to do that, you go to File, Download As, and click on Microsoft Excel. And it's going to tell you this and press OK. Yes, you want it to open that. Sounds good. All right, so this opens up, and of course, we're going to do enable editing. Okay. Right now, let's go ahead and save this. Save as. We're going to browse. This is going to be on our desktop. Put it in your folder. And we are in Unit 7, and I have not made a folder for Unit 7, and I'm trying to see how I do that here. No, not that. New folder, here we go. And so last name. Okay, cool. I'm gonna open this one and we'll call it Jenga block measurements. Put first initial, last name. Terrific. All right, save. Okay, now you won't lose all that stuff. And we're also gonna print this out, so put your name here. Full name, please. Okay, and your period, whatever period you're in. All right, awesome. Okay, so looking at the handout here, what we have is you had to download this as Microsoft Excel, and everybody has to do their own Excel statistical processing. I want everybody to learn this on their own. All right, and then you're gonna, from your notes, you're gonna define what mean, median, the first quartile, third quartile, all that stuff. And then I'm on number 7 right now, where I'm gonna go through how to do some of the questions listed on there. So for the first one, it says make a scatter plot of your height and the block number. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the values and up to 54. I'm going to highlight the values and I'm going to go to insert, and under recommended charts, I'm going to click here scatter plot, and just a basic scatter plot like this. All right. I will be organizing all the stuff on here because I'm going to print it out. So I want to print it out right next to my data. So go ahead and put your table, your graph right here. All right. And also on there, it says put a title. So let's go ahead and call this Jenga height measurements. Jenga height measurements. Lovely. And okay, well, let's call it Jenga height, block height measurements. It's a little more specific. Okay, it also says here too, on the instructions, to add a title to your vertical axis and your horizontal axis. All right, so we're going to do that. If I click on my graph and I click on here, I could click on here, but well, if I click on it, sometimes it goes there, but just go to design right here. All right, chart tools. Notice it won't come up till you click on it. Go to design and then add chart element right here. And we're going to do axis titles. We're going to put one for horizontal. And what should we call this? Well, this is, yes, you probably guessed it, the block number. So we got block numbers 1 through 54. Now we're going to add a axis title for the vertical, and let's call that height. And you always include units. And so what units are you using? Correct, inches. Okay. So we have the height and block number, Jenga block height measurements, and now it looks very professional. All right, you will have to do that in college for sure. Okay. All right. So on number 7 it says we did the title, we did the horizontal axis name, and put a trend line. I'm not gonna put a trend line on this, but on B, I'm reading 7B right now. It says sort your data from lowest to highest. Include the block number written on the block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this data right here, and I'm going to sort the height. Okay, so I want the shortest height to the tallest height of each block. All right, terrific. So Excel is powerful enough to do that for you. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to highlight the section that I want to sort. And I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go to sort. And here it tells me by what column. Well, I want to sort by column C. Height of each block. Sort by values from smallest to largest. Okay, that sounds good. All right, did that. Well, now we can see that turns out block 52 is our shortest block. And what is our tallest block? Looks like block 43 was our tallest block. All right, so we have the two ends of the spectrum here, from the shortest to the tallest. All right, so that is 7B. All right, 7C. Write down the value of your Q1 on here and on your Excel spreadsheet. Highlight this row in yellow. So before it asked you in question 6 that if you have 54 values, which would be your first quartile? Which block would be your first quartile? And which would be your third quartile? All right. So, well, what we can do is we can look at there's numbers 1 through 54. So what is the middle number? Basically, 54 divided by 2 is 27. Okay. That's the median number. Between 1 and 54, 27 is the median number. All right, well, what's the median number between 1 and 27? What's the number right in the middle between 1 and 27? Well, one way to look at this is that since there's an odd number, 1 through 27, then there's going to be one number in the middle. So basically 1 through 13, and then there's from 14 through 27, there's 13 numbers here. So it's 13 numbers here, and there's 13 numbers up here. So 14, this is our first quartile. It says to highlight this in yellow. So I'm going to go to home and this fill, and I'm going to highlight it in yellow. That's my first quartile. Let's see what it says here. It says write down the value of your first quartile in here and on the Excel spreadsheet, and this value is 0.570. So what I'm going to do here is, and what you should start learning are formulas. Okay, so right here I'm just going to do a very simple formula, and I'm going to say this equals, and I'm going to click on the cell. This equals cell C16. All right, you can see it right here that I said it equals cell C16. Boom, enter, and that is that. All right. Also on question 6, you decided what was your third quartile number. So if 14 is my first quartile, then what is my third quartile number? Okay, so 27 through 54, and I believe that is number 40. Do the math here real quick. Yes, so we got, I'm going to count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. So this is 14 right here. So this right here is my my third quartile. All right. And again, this is cell C42. So I'm going to use a formula here to do that, because you should get adept at formulas in Excel. And I'll say equals, let me go down, C42, enter. All right, so that right there is my third quartile. Okay, And you also wrote those down on your piece of paper. You highlighted them in yellow. And now I'm looking at 7E. All right, using formulas in cell E5, calculate your IQR. Well, your IQR is just this minus that. All right. Again, let's use formulas. All right. That's why we are humans and we can use tools. Okay. We can have computers do this for us. Very easy. I'll show you how. We're going to do equals. We're going to subtract this cell, put a minus sign, that cell, enter, boom. That is our interquartile range. Okay. Interquartile range. All right, this is going to be helpful for us when we try to identify our lower outlier. All right, let's see. 7F, using Excel formulas in cell E6, find the lower outlier. All right, so the lower outlier, okay, the lower outlier is Q1 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range. What'd I do? Yes. So do note that multiplication and it's going to correct it for me is that little asterisk button. All right, so you got to put that little asterisk in there. Yes, I'll accept that correction. So it looks like your formula is Q1. No, I'm not going to do equal sign. Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. All right, so that is the formula that we put in there. So that's my lower outlier. Okay, upper outlier. Upper outlier is Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. All right, so again, let's use formulas for this. So I'm going to put equals. So it's going to be my third quartile plus 1.5. What's multiplication? The asterisk times IQR. All right, so this is my lower outlier and this is my upper outlier. All right, so let's see if this makes sense to me. Yes and yes. Okay. All right, and then it says, where am I at here? I did 7F and 7G. And on 7H, it says on your table, highlight in teal if you have any lower or upper outliers. What color is teal? I don't know. I think it's like a light shade of blue. So fortunately for me, it's already sorted. Okay, so this is my lowest number, and this is my highest number. Do I have anything lower than my lowest number? I do. 0.56525, and this is 0.5640. This is an outlier, so we're going to highlight this one in teal. Sure. I don't know if that's teal, whatever color that is. Okay, so we have an outlier. Do we have an upper outlier? 0.59125. 0.59, we do not have an upper outlier. So we only have one outlier here. And if actually I go to the graph and, well, which one seems to be far away from the middle? This one. Look at that. It says 0.52, 0.5640. Yes, this is too far from the range. That makes sense. Okay. Next, I am in 7I. Okay. 7I, using Excel formulas in a cell E8, find the mean. All right, mean. You remember that from 6th grade. Okay, how do you find the mean or the average? Well, you add up all the numbers and you divide by the number of numbers. So there's 54 numbers, and I'm going to add all these up. Well, let's use some formulas for this. One important one. There actually is an average function. And I think we can type it out, but I'm going to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to do sum. All right, and I'm going to, whoops, sum, and I'll put a parentheses, left parentheses, and then I'm going to highlight all the numbers up to 54. Okay, and I'm looking at this one. There's 54. Great, terrific. And then I'm going to close that off. And I'm going to divide that by 54. My mean or average is 0.5779. Okay, so 0.5779 right up here is my mean. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Difference between mean and the lower outlier. Well, difference, what operation is that? Difference, is that add, subtract, multiply? Well, that's subtraction. So I'm going to subtract this. I'm sorry, subtract this from that. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Equals, boom, minus, boom. All right. And difference between mean and upper outlier. All right. So I'm going to subtract this from that. All right. So I'm going to start with the upper outlier and subtract the mean. Okay. Again, equals this minus that. Okay. And what we have right here is we just did 7J. Using Excel formulas, find a tolerance in a lower tolerance and upper tolerance. Put this in cells E9 and E11. Okay. All right, so we put those in there. And the last thing we want to do here is we want to put a line as best as possible where our mean is. So let's say we want to graph a horizontal line right where our mean is. I want to split all this data in half, roughly. So a horizontal line is y equals. Okay, so I want to graph the line y equals 0.5779. All right. Now there's probably a way to do this in Excel, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just some drawing tools to do that. Okay. And I'm gonna roughly graph this line right here. So I'm gonna click on this and let's see if I can find it. It is, I think, in design. Insert. It's somewhere. Let's see. Okay, I had to pause the video there while I looked for it, but I found it. And what we're gonna do is we're going to go to insert right here, and just right here, shapes. We're just gonna draw a horizontal line right where this value is right here, 0.5779, and not right there, but roughly where we think it's at. So I'm gonna say it is almost right in the middle right here. Okay, this is subjective. All right, and I want it to be as horizontal as possible, and I'm just gonna draw a line there. All right, and let's do this. Let's make this line a little bit thicker. Sure. Right about there, 1.25. And let's make it a different color. Let's make it black. Okay. And now this allows me to see that this is roughly what the value, the specified dimension of the Jenga block should be, right? The specified dimension should be our mean, 0.5779. Okay, that's what we try to make it. But when it's fabricated, it is not exactly that. There's some that are really close, like that one, and there's some that aren't. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, and this is your assignment. You're gonna turn this in. So you're going to print this out. So let's take a look how you can print this out so it looks good. Make sure you got your name on there. You're gonna go to File, Print, and do have it, click right here, fit sheet on one page, It should have your name and your period on there. It should have your graph. It should have all your data, and you are going to print that out. That should be good to go. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. That is it.